Thank you for joining us for the online version of the Startup 425 Foundation's seminar on marketing and content marketing in particular. I want to introduce myself. I will be brief. My name is Duncan Malloy, and I'm a consultant to the City of Kirkland. And the City of Kirkland is in a 5-city alliance with Bellevue, Redmond, Renton, and Issaquah. And that alliance is the backbone behind Startup 425. Startup 425 is designed to provide entrepreneurs and typically newly started businesses, younger businesses, with some tips and tricks on getting started and staying in business and becoming successful and growing and prospering. So this series that we give twice a year in the spring and the fall is called Foundations. And we give, again, some basic business info to get people kick-started if they're thinking about it, or maybe a reason not to start a business if they're thinking about doing that. We often find people tell us the most important thing we gave them was some tough love and said, your business concept really isn't viable. You might want to revise it or think about a different approach. So with that, I want to turn it over to our main event, which is our speaker, David Ormerod. David is a longtime consultant with SCORE, and he'll tell you what SCORE is. And most importantly, he'll walk us through this evening some very topical and actionable marketing information. So, David, you're on stage.
Thank you, Duncan. I'm David Ormerod, and I've been a SCORE mentor now for some 15 years. SCORE is part of the United States Small Business Administration, the SBA, and typically most of us are former business owners who have retired or have little spare time on their hands and want to help others. I've been doing this, I say, for 15 years because I like doing it, and it's I find it quite enjoyable. Most of the clients that I see are in the early stages of their startup. They're trying to figure out what to do next, and I help them in determine their organization and so forth. A lot of the people that come to SCORE were an expert at doing something for someone else, but have no idea on how to actually go get clients, go get customers, and how to make things run. Marketing is probably one of the most overlooked areas of new business in the early stages. You come up with a better mousetrap. You can't expect people to beat a path to your door. You have to go and market. And it's an extremely important thing. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about market research. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on that because it's an absolute essential thing that you do. Marketing, the 5 P's of marketing, which include product, price, place, which is distribution of your product, promotion, which includes advertising, and positioning. Marketing and versus sales, I'll contrast the two and the difference between the two and what to do about it. You can get into advertising, and then the most important and the greatest amount of time we're going to spend is on content marketing, which includes social media and other things. So let's get started. Market research is extremely important. It helps establish the size of the market you're going into, what sort of features your product ought to have, how to price it against your competition, how to position it in the market so that your customers can understand what it is and what it's good for. I've done some market research for my clients as simple as doing a Google search on market research statistics for certain industries, and have found an amazing amount of information out there, including some high-priced studies that were done for some companies that seem to be available on the internet. One of the biggest uses I get is through King County Library, and they are also a sponsor of these Startup 425 workshops. I particularly like two aspects of the King County Library's pages. Includes business funding, Mergent Intellect, and another one, Reference USA. The Reference USA one is available through KCLS King County. Unfortunately, the Mergent Intellect one is available through Snohomish Library and yes, it's through the Snohomish Library. I'll show you in a minute anyways. Seattle Economic Development, I'll show you a page of that. It's got an amazing amount of information. The United States Small Business Administration, the SBA, very important resources. I'll show you those. American Fact Finder. By the way, if you have the PDF of this, you can just click on these links on the PDF and they will open those sites. So they're hot links. I'll also cover the Small Business Development, SBDC, Small Business Development Centers, the information they have. There's Google's Consumer Barometer, Pew Research, and another one, SurveyMonkey, which I'll show you a little bit about in a minute as well. This is one of the best ones that I've used. I use it constantly, called Reference USA. It's available on the King County Library system, very easy to get into it. I don't know if some of you are familiar with using SIC codes or NIICS codes for finding various industries where you're targeting. I was working with a software development company that was selling into other software companies a software package for their systems. So it was a business-to-business venture. And they wanted to get lists of potential clients, potential customers. So I went into Reference USA and generated lists of clients, including one like this one, Mike Tech Systems. I also gave them detailed contact information that's available on Reference USA, which includes things such as the company's webpage, their Twitter and Facebook, Google Plus and LinkedIn sites, as well as the names of the various people within their organization. They were particularly interested in the IT and CIO, CTO people, Chief Information Officers, and Chief Technology Officers, as well as their marketing people. So we developed lists of the clients along with contact names and did some efforts with regard to finding their Facebook listings. We did also their LinkedIn and contacted some of their employees through their LinkedIn pages. So it's quite amazing what you can do. And we did quite an extensive contact with these companies. There was something unusual when we looked in it. A lot of the people that we looked at were no longer with the company. So I did a little check and found out that, in fact, the company was in some financial difficulties. So we removed them from the list. The other thing I mentioned was this market research, Mergent Intellect, which is a product of Dun & Bradstreet. They have lots of industry overviews and complete data on different companies, different marketplaces. Here's an example of a client that was looking into an opportunity in commercial real estate, and we came up with some significant competitive landscape and industry overview information for that client. Another one was on wineries for Woodinville, and here was some research that we did here through Mergent Intellect. This one, you see the NAICS codes and the SIC codes. It's very important to use that as your searching method for finding these companies. The Seattle Economic Development Center, and as I say, if you have the PDF version, you just click on there and it'll take you right to this site. If you were, for instance, starting a coffee shop in in Seattle and you wanted to find out how many competitors there were in your area, find out what the industry trends are and the business climate, has a lot of information that can be extremely useful to you. Transportation capabilities, utilities, workforce availability, and so forth. A great asset. This is the United States Small Business Administration has a lot of information. General business statistics, consumer statistics, demographics, economic indicators, employment statistics, all kinds of information available. And I suggest you try that to get more information on your market. Small Business Development Centers, part of the Washington State University and the SBDC. They have a lot of information, again, listed by NAICS codes and SIC codes. Each industry, here was one for a gentleman that was starting up a drug cleaning service. Lots of information on the marketplace and what it's like. Those of you that already have a significant following on LinkedIn or Facebook, as you develop a lot of followers on those sites, you can often approach them to help you with doing some market research. SurveyMonkey has a great site for doing some standardized market research. This one here is for a product testing template. And you just ask for the template, and then you can modify it the way you want. And you can send this out with a link to either by email or through your internet social media pages, and ask your potential clients to fill in the survey, perhaps giving them some incentive, or maybe you don't need to. But it's certainly a good way to get some detailed information for your market research. We're getting into the traditional marketing, marketing of the 5 Ps: product, price, position, promotion, and place. We're going to go through each of these. I'll remind you when we get to position number 5, if any of number 3, position, item number 1 to number 4 appear on the lean canvas. And any of you have some experience with regard to using the lean canvas will find this particularly useful. And I'll cover that a little bit more, and I'll be talking about the lean canvas business planning in a few minutes. We'll be talking about promotion, including advertising, content marketing, and social media, and distribution we call place. Your business or product must offer something different. You can't be just like one of the other 4 oboe manufacturers here, or retailers. You got to offer something different. Products that you offer must solve a customer perceived problem and deliver a unique value. To provide the best value, your product or service must be better. And it's a question mark as to what is better and what is perceived as better. I've often wondered how anyone could sell a watch for $41,800 using the thought that this little girl will want to wear it when she gets older. And yet the younger generation, Generation X and Y, are using their phones for telling the time rather than their watches. But they still seem to be in business and continue to advertise very expensive ads. The cars at the bottom of the page, the Corvette is many times the price of the car next to it, and yet they can't make enough of them right now. The new mid-engine Corvette has back orders for the next 4 months. So it depends on what the better is and how it delivers value to the client. Usually when we do this live, we take a break and talk a little bit about your elevator speech, describing your product or service as you might to a reporter on an elevator ride to the fourth floor. So think of your product or service as something that solves a problem for your customer in a way that sounds appealing. We won't be doing that tonight, but think about it yourselves when you get a chance. Price. Here's how to set it. You got to know the market, first of all. You need to find out how much customers will pay and how much the customers, your competitors, are charging. You got to choose the best pricing technique, which can be variable. Working out your costs, consider it cost plus pricing. Set of value-based pricing. In other words, it's rather than over cost, how do you compare with your competitors? Do you deliver better value? Then you can charge a higher price. Typically, most people price based on what the market will bear. In other words, what are your competitors charging for the equivalent type of product? Think about other influences on price and keep on your toes because things change. You also don't want to be the low price leader. It's not a good thing to be. It usually spells disaster. How do you want your customers to perceive your product or service? You need to differentiate your product from the competitions and address important customer buying criteria, such as how it provides a solution to customer problems, particularly a key product or company characteristics that should do that. Marketing messages and positioning have a lot in common. Identify a long-term strategy, not a one-time action. When you're thinking of your product positioning, is it single-minded? Does it convey one primary message at a time? Is it meaningful? Will it connect with the target audience? Differentiating, does it contrast your strengths against the competition? Is it important? Is it pertinent and significant to the target audience? Will it be a solution to their problem? Is it sustainable? Will it resonate with the target audience well into the future? Is it believable? Will it ring true with the target audience? Will they believe you? Is it credible? Can you clearly substantiate your claims? Many of us in the marketplace what we want to say versus what our customers want to hear are slightly different. But where they merge is what you should talk about. So always think about how you are solving a problem for your customers. Again, we're not going to have an opportunity to go around the room and ask what your product or service is and how you're positioning it with your customers, but you need to think about that. One company said that their customers say that our product works faster and is more effective in doing something. That's what people are looking for. They're looking for something that solves a problem for them. A financial advisor once said, I help my clients reach their financial goals while saving them a fortune in taxes. It's the sort of thing that people want to hear. If they want to know how you do it, make an appointment to talk about it. Place or distribution. Where will your product or service be sold? How will your customers find you? Be online, Amazon, eBay, a storefront, or field sales. I've worked with a medical company that had some direct distribution. I also worked with another medical company as a vice president of marketing, where we had to distribute through sales distributors, and an entirely different way of doing business, entirely different control that you have over your distribution. So that often tells you what you can and cannot do. You need a physical location. Is there parking? Is it safe? Is it convenient? Competitors' locations matter. In other words, are you really close to uh, companies that are similar to yourself. The coffee shop fellow who was setting up a coffee shop in Seattle, he didn't want to be too close to other coffee shops on the same block. Can you work out of your home? Do you really need to have a physical location? If you're going to have to hire people, hire carefully. What else can you do with the money? If you're starting up a storefront, it's very expensive. If there are other ways of getting around it, you should look into it. And marketing versus sales. Sales is often part of marketing, but it's sometimes separate from marketing in that if you're selling through another agent, through another store, for wherever, you have less control over what you sell. The way we used to do it when we used distribution was we would have conventions or sales opportunities where we demonstrated products to customers and then took down their name and contact information and then pass it on to our sales reps who would then approach them. So we would put sales leads into the funnel, and sales leads became opportunities, which became proposals, which developed new customers and produced sales. A number of my clients have been consultants or have a consultative type of business-to-business selling opportunity, which involved contacting people and setting up conversations in which they uncover the needs of their clients. It's called the consultative approach. And if you're a consultant or in the service businesses or a professional, you typically have to manage your business in this fashion. You would research your client or customer ahead of time. You would always ask open-ended questions, especially about problems they may be having. Listen to what they're saying about the problems and what pain or issues that those problems cause. Teach and communicate your why and qualify that customer as a potential resource. Close and present a solution. Some of the examples of that were people who are at a consulting service where the customers were having a particular problem in a certain area. And the problem was causing loss of income, delays in producing product, and dissatisfaction among their employees. So you can imagine the pain that he was suffering from having these problems, and he saw my client's offerings as a way to solve his problems. If you're doing a traditional business plan, and some of you may be, especially if you're going for funding through SBA or through a bank, you need to put together a full business plan. And in that business plan, you're going to have a marketing portion. And you're going to have to show us your target markets, your competitive profile, your marketing strategy, your distribution channels if you're going to require outside distribution. So doing some research is going to be very essential to putting your business plan together. I mentioned earlier the lean canvas, and I don't know if many of you are familiar with it. If you're not, you will be soon, because I think it's become an essential part of starting a new business. If you click on this link at the top, it takes you to a tutorial on YouTube, and it's quite useful. So if you have the PDF of this, just click on that link and watch the tutorial. Positioning was part of the lean canvas in that number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are very essential parts of understanding who your target market is and what it's going to take to sell to them. the problem section is not your problems, it's customer problems, obviously. You know, they want to know what sort of problems are the customer having right now with what they're using, and who that customer is. Uh, when I was marketing into the medical industry, we really had three different target customers. We had the hospitals who bought the product, the doctors that installed it or used it, and the patients who were the ultimate end user, the ones that ended up with the product implanted in them. So there was three different target customers that we had to please, and of course we had to have a different approach for each of them. Unique value proposition, and what do you deliver? A compelling message that states why your product is different and why it is worth paying attention to. And then there's the top three features of your product that solve the problem. Solution that's item number 4 there. So these are the key elements of the Lean Canvas, and the business plan has become very important that you be able to fill this out. In that tutorial, the gentleman that presents it fills in those areas. He talks about the problems. This is a photo sharing system that he had developed, a software system for photo sharing. And he says the problem that people are having is sharing lots of photos and videos is time consuming. Parents have no free time. There's lots of external demand on this content. And he divided up the customer segments, parents and family and friends as the viewers. So you can see as you run through that tutorial, you can see how they put in that information into the Lean Canvas. So obviously advertising is changing. Advertising in the traditional way it can be very expensive. I mean, look at the average cost of a television ad. For local television, it's $112,000 for a 36-second advertisement. If you look at the national ads, $342,000 for a national ad, 30 seconds. So it can be very expensive. National magazines, inside cover, $141,000. One of the best methods that my clients have used has been door hanger printed ads, and they've worked quite well, particularly for contractors who are working in certain areas where they're in a neighborhood, and while they're doing work in a neighborhood, they'll go around and put these door hanger ads on saying that, you know, I'm doing a job in the neighborhood, and if you're interested in replacing your doors or whatever it is they do, give me a call. And it's been extremely effective. I had another client who advertised in a local newspaper, the Woodinville Weekly. The ads were expensive, I thought, at $200 a week. So he's spending $10,000 a year on these little tiny ads. And then, of course, what happened was the newspapers decided to suddenly no longer deliver it to all thousands of homes in the area. Instead, they went online and went by subscription only. So they sell maybe about 20% or less of what they used to with regard to distribution. So definitely newspaper advertising is on death's door, and including those regional and neighborhood newspapers are very challenged right now. So what do we do? That's the traditional way. Yeah. Oh, I know. There, okay. I changed the size of the picture and it stopped me from moving it open. Changes in marketing. We've seen the end of printed newspapers, ad blockers on websites. Netflix bingers, in other words, people are not watching standard broadcast television like they used to. They'll watch Netflix all evening and not see one ad. Micro-influencers and more. Technology has completely transformed the marketing landscape, empowering consumers and forcing brands to rethink how to deliver real value. Welcome to the post-advertising era where creativity, technology, and innovation collide. The future of advertising lies in technology that leads to higher customer engagement with precision targeting. Videos with storytelling, augmented reality, and virtual technology with personalized targeting that will help customers stay engaged with the advertising content and provide a high return for the ad dollar. How do we do that? Content marketing is described as the process for developing, executing, and delivering content and related assets that are needed to create, nurture, and grow a company's customer base. Sounds pretty vague, but it's all the things that were not done by conventional advertising. Conventional advertising gives identity and positioning of your product, but content marketing can provide detailed information consumers need in order to decide on the best product or service that meets their needs. And that's definitely what it's doing. So why content marketing? 27 million pieces of content are shared every day through the internet. People spend more than 50% of their online time reading content, with an additional 30% on social media. Clicks from shared content are 5 times more likely to result in a purchase. And content marketing generates 3 times more leads per dollar than traditional advertising. In other words, you get a lot more bang for your buck with social media. Why is content marketing today's marketing? Content marketing leaders experience 7.8 times more site traffic than non-leaders. Content produces brand recall, more likely to remember it, which increases engagement. The median time people spend on articles is 37 seconds. When people go to their LinkedIn page, if the picture and the words there don't immediately engage them, they move on to the next one. They say people have the attention span of a goldfish these days. So you've got to be able to hit them hard with something that attracts them and maintains their attention. Content marketing costs 62% less than outboard marketing. It generates more than 3 times as many leads. The majority, some 88% of business-to-business marketers use content marketing in their marketing strategies. Content marketing drives 6 times higher conversion rates. Email marketing is one of the most effective forms of content marketing. Old pop-up ads don't work anymore. Some 200 million people now use ad blockers to stop them, so that's not working. Most business-to-business marketers use at least 13 content marketing tactics, and 73% of major organizations hire someone to manage their content marketing strategy. So there's whole professions generated around content marketing now. So what are the top methods of content marketing? What are the tools that they're using by usage, by percent usage? And of course, social media is number one. Social media other than blogs. Articles on your website, also known as blogs, and of course down below is blogs, e-newsletters, case studies, videos, in-person events, conventions and so forth are still considered to be part of content marketing. Articles on other websites that are referred over onto yours, white papers that are generated on your website, webinars, webcasts, research reports, and infographics. So most companies use 12 or 13 of these content marketing methods, and small companies use more blogs. And big companies are using more videos. Videos are becoming more and more popular. Social media use is growing. 2006, the adults that used that were about 11% of the adults, and now it's more like 69% or more. Probably this year it's closer to 75 or 80%. Some of those, you see up above, there's Pinterest, there's Facebook, Google Plus, which I don't see anymore, LinkedIn. Where are your customers? The younger crowd is on Instagram more, and certainly on YouTube. And the older people tend to be on Facebook and LinkedIn more so. Well, just it's also a lot of women like Pinterest, and it's a very product-oriented social media. College graduates tend to prefer LinkedIn. Social media can help your business build awareness and deliver great customer service, generate sales. 86% of small businesses use social media. Percentage of business to customer, to direct to consumer marketers are using content marketing. This is a percentage of small business marketers who use various social media platforms to distribute content. This shows it in 2017, and then in 2018. I don't have one for 2019 yet, but it's very similar. Facebook and Instagram are seem to be currently the two biggest, with Twitter and LinkedIn trailing it. Although I think LinkedIn is making a comeback. You see the general trends here. Small business marketers use an average of 5 social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Larger enterprises use an average of 4 and most often use Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Organizational goals for content marketing. What do they want to do with it? Small business marketers cite brand awareness as their top goal for content marketing, followed by customer acquisition, lead generation, customer retention / loyalty, thought leadership, and website traffic. How do you measure? Small business marketers mostly often use website traffic to measure content marketing success. You're using analytics to find out who's coming to your website, how long they're staying, what pages they're landing on, and so forth. 57% of small business marketers plan to increase the amount they allocate to content marketing. And web analytics, again, are crucial for finding this out. Again, website traffic is the key one. So search engine optimization, drawing people back to your website is your key objective. And we'll get into some details as to how to do that. What are the problems people are having with content marketing and social media? Is that producing enough content is tough. And producing the right kind of content is also a problem. They work hand in hand. It's something a lot of people, when I tell them that you're going to have to do this several times a week, 4 times a week to be out there on all the social media platforms. And they say, oh boy, that's just too much. I can't do that. Well, you're going to have to do it. It's just, there's no way around it unless you can get somebody to do it for you. But nobody knows your business like you know it. So to get going, you're going to have to spend the time yourself to get at it. And we'll talk about what you should be doing as well in a few minutes. How business-to-business marketers rate their organization's current content marketing success compared with 1 year ago. And all of them are finding it somewhat more successful than a challenge. Either extremely or very successful content marketers are more likely to have a documented content marketing strategy, describe their organization's content marketing as maturity level as sophisticated or mature, a high level of commitment to content marketing, and agree that their organization is realistic about what content marketing can achieve. They also agree that leadership gives them ample time to produce content marketing results. I don't know how they figure that. They deliver content consistently or frequently. What content distribution channels are marketers adding in the next year? And certainly YouTube, I don't know whatever happened to Facebook video. Instagram is up. Snapchat, they're all coming on stronger this year. 21st century media channels, websites, social media, content communities, and advertising. And websites powered by content management systems such as WordPress, which I like, but there are others. Social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and many more. Content communities where you can deliver video and so forth are shown here. YouTube is, of course, is one of the best known. And advertising, paid advertising or regular advertising through social media. Here's some examples of some companies that have been successful in their content marketing strategy. The first one is a company called River Pools. It went from a retail storefront in 2 locations to a nationwide fiberglass pool installer, an expert using Q&A blogs.
Hey, Dave, the video is very faint.
audio?
Or the audio? Yes.
Okay. Can't do much about it. Okay. I'll try the next one. That last one showed the advantages of doing a Q&A posts on their website and how effective it was in bringing customers. This is another one. Somebody may have seen this before. Content videos on website and social media. Blendtec was a company of this business that took off like crazy when it started this quirky video campaign using YouTube. Then they started posting it on their website, and then started doing other similar things. I'll tell you about in a minute.
Yeah, we're still not able to hear.
Not hear it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, here we go. That's as loud as I can go. Can you hear that?
Nope.
No? Not at all?
Very faint.
Too bad. Well,
It's almost like the speaker's not picking up the microphone on your computer
oh,
or something.
jeez. Well, I didn't know that. Should I stop it? I'll stop it. I'll stop it there. Essentially, what he did was something no one else had ever tried. He was grinding up marbles, and then he did some cell phones in his blender, and people were so fascinated with it. It took off. It became a hot item on the internet, and people were sharing these videos all over the place. And as a result of it, his business started taking off. So he's a big proponent of using video as a method of marketing on social media. So what are some of the most common types of interactive content? Things that are used for lead generation, such as email campaigns and helping to move the client through the decision process. We saw them using Q&A as ways of bringing in clients, the river pools. But there are all kinds of other ways of bringing clients to your website, getting their email address so that you can put them on a monthly or regular newsletter schedule. I get newsletters from some people every day. Sometimes it's a little bit aggravating, and others I look forward to receiving. People are offering things such as contests, interactive white papers, ebooks, calculators for calculating different things, interactive infographics, solution builders, configurators, quizzes, assessments, surveys, Q&A pages, templates, mini courses, webinars, videos, games, apps, coupons, or any content requiring a form to fill in. One of my clients offers a book or an article that you can download when you go to his website. So it's great. It's a PDF version, so it doesn't really cost them anything. So it's a great way of doing it. Constant Contact has done a real dynamite job in the area of email marketing. A number of years ago, I was on the director of the Woodinville Chamber of Commerce. Constant Contact approached us. They asked to get the names of all of our members, and they would look after all of our email campaign. What could go wrong? They did a dynamite job of promoting our Chamber of Commerce, and And at it, they also got access to all of our clients' company names. So it worked well for them. They are really good at designing emails that are designed to engage and make email marketing easier and faster and send emails that pop. They're really good at it. They collect email addresses. You can collect email addresses on your website, from Facebook, through mobile, and more. And so your business reaches more and more people. Constant Contact works with various other connections such as WordPress, Shopify, Salesforce, and others, so that it connects with them for distribution. Salesforce also has some interesting things for a scalable marketing automation platform to help them drive personalized marketing campaigns and find and nurture leads. There are also some, as I say, some companies offer certain things on their website in order to get the email address of the people that come to the website. Some of my clients have bought some private label rights, articles and ebooks and videos that you can label as your own and use them as incentives for your customers. And here are some of the sites you can go to get more information on that. It's not a bad way to be able to draw people to your website, offer them something in return for their email address for future marketing. Of course, a lot of people know now about Google's Getting Your Business Online, and Google Online is called now, I believe. But it's free and easy to do. And when somebody Googles you, it pops right up, and there it is. It's free. In order to be good at doing content marketing, you need to create your own marketing plan in writing, humanize your marketing, tell an engaging story, show your business personality, what makes you different from your competitors, publicly show your customer service level, be original and authentic, and vary your content regularly. Listen to your customers, use a variety of marketing channels, channel mix, various social media platforms. Budget for marketing, not just advertising. Brand building is a long-term game. Be patient, it doesn't happen overnight. Be consistent with your brand and content, website, social media, print media, what other else you need to do. And use graphics and photos effectively. I typically, every time I post on various platforms, I always put some photograph or graphic. As I say, people's attention span is very short, and their eyes are attracted towards visual content, so it's usually a very useful thing to do. This is what I advocate to my clients, and this is the most important slide among all the other slides, is this one right here, the social media content cycle. What we need to do is to identify what real problems do your products or services solve. What is your positioning of your product? And then curate, go out on the internet and find articles that support all of this positioning. And then blog either with new articles or about other people's articles with original content. For instance, it's kind of hard to determine what I'm talking about unless I give some examples. A lady was starting a home care business for the elderly, and she wanted to be able to get some relevant social media material. And in Googling various areas, we found that the United States Department of Health had all kinds of articles demonstrating that home care was far more cost effective than putting people into nursing homes. And also the patients or the elders were far happier staying in their own home. So she blogged about that extremely effectively. And also her own articles. Put the full blog on your website. I don't like the word blog. I like the word article. If you have a website where you can have an article page, put the full article on your page, and then précis it down to a smaller version, and then put it out on social media. Use contact incentives and analytics to determine who's watching it, how frequently they're looking at it, and who's coming back to your website. Use more content marketing tactics such as articles, Q&As, ebooks, contests, and videos. Use more social media platforms to deliver content. Curate, in other words, tailor your content to specific profiles or personas. Produce engaging web content. Use graphics such as photos or videos. Regularly produce quality content. Offer reward for email addresses. Use meta tags, key descriptive words. Search engine optimization is the goal. You want to eventually bring them back to your website. And use analytics to measure and identify your targets. How to build consistently effective content. Know the objective. Collect stories and either curate. Go and look for stories that support your product or service. Figure out the so what. Why would anyone read it or watch a video? Lean on experts for quality and distribution. Test, adapt, and test again. Test different pieces on different channels. Nurture. Long sales cycles depend on a great nurturing process. Keep sales flowing by distributing great content. And remember the earlier things about positioning. It's not what you want to say, it's what your customers want to hear. That intersection is what you should be talking about. Metrics. I think this was a few years ago on Facebook. We see how many page views, what pages they're coming to. And of course, you can do similar things with your website to determine who's coming there, where they're from, how long they're staying, and what page they're landing on, and so forth. So as you get bigger and you have less and less time to spend on social media posts, or if you're not really good at it, you can go to other organizations and pay to have it done. Hootsuite is top of the list, probably the most famous. It's venerated because it fulfills all that successful social media marketing is all about, is speed and efficient. Automates and schedules posts. It gives you analytics and social media monitoring tools. The problem with all of these, by the way, right up front, is that nobody knows your business like you know your business. Can you rely on someone else to do your marketing for you when they may not know what your positioning is or what your product is like and so forth? So be careful when you do this. Postling is also allows small business users to publish on multiple networking sites through one centralized location. Delivereit is the one I like. Aside from posting to multiple systems, you can also use Delivereit to generate an RSS feed from many sources, which you can then use in places that supports RSS. Internet technology standard that allows busy people to receive updates to web-based content of interest. I like it because it's free and it allows you to post on numerous sites your own content. Read more about it at these sites here, and I think they are hot links. Yes, they are. You can click on there on the PDF and open up those to learn more about it. Think about your content marketing strategy. What do you think is going to work for you? What are you going to do next? Where are you going to start? How are you going to grow it? Again, one of the reasons for social media is search engine optimization, is to bring people back to your website. How do you do that? Through you create thought-leading content. Consistent creation of quality content has always been the most beneficial thing you can do for your business online. Google is actually able to detect well-written original content. I didn't believe that when I first heard it, that Google will position you higher in the search engine if your content is better. But apparently they do, and I don't know how they do it. They have some algorithms. Build links through organic outreach, share excellent content with bloggers, journalists, and webmasters that actually care about it. Encourage people to Google +1 your content by using ever-present social sharing Google Plus circles. Build an engaging web presence. Maintain fast, safe website. Google cares that your site serves its pages quickly. Another one of Google's principles is keeping its users safe. Those web addresses start with an S on the edge of HTTPS rather than just the HTTP. Helps a bit. Have a brand that people talk about. Getting your website mentioned on other sites, especially quality sites that themselves rank highly, improves your ranking. Search engine optimized friendly URLs, a great deal of content management system like WordPress will ensure that URLs are always SEO friendly, and write good title tags. Search engine optimization not working. There may be some reasons. Concentrating on too short of keywords. In other words, every time you post, you need to have maybe a 3 or 4 keyword as to what your positioning of your company is. I'm going to say a motto that you constantly use that describes who you are, and repeat it frequently every time you post if you can. Concentrating on too short of keywords, you get lost in search engine optimization. Naughty SEO, what that was, and I don't know that people are doing it as much anymore, but Google would punish you if you put search words all over your site in such a way as to hide them in the same color as the background. That's called naughty SEO, and I don't think too many people are doing that anymore, but it's wrong. Ignoring the benefit of title and meta descriptions. We should be using these title descriptions all the time. A short sentence, a few words that describe your company and what you do. Seattle Score has a lot of resources. There are all kinds of webinars. They have some classes, recorded webinars, live webinars on all kinds of topics, including content marketing. I suggest you go to this, and again, that's a live. Is that a live? No, that's not a live link. But go to Seattle Score and check out their library and take a look at what they have for you. It's great. Good stuff. A marketing plan is a key element of your business plan, and if you're going for funding, you should develop a marketing plan that's part of your business plan. We have templates for doing a marketing plan on that website. So you browse the library when you go to the Seattle Score and find it there. The marketing plan guide, there's guides that you can download. Very useful. So we've reviewed market research, marketing the 5 Ps. We've talked about marketing versus sales, advertising, conventional advertising, content marketing. If you need to get more information, you can email me And it's a live link. Go to Seattle Score. There's my web page is on Seattle Score website. And there's my LinkedIn page there. I've been publishing an awful lot about the coronavirus lately, and it's taking up a lot of our time because it's a hot concern among most of my clients right now. At that, I'm going to relinquish my portion of the conversation. I'd like to go back to Duncan or Ardeen. Hello.
All right, thanks, Dave. Does anyone have any questions? And again, if you do, please enter those in the chat box. Yes, everyone's going to get a copy of the webinar as well as the slides. Absolutely, you're welcome. Duncan, would you like to say a few words before we close out?
Sure. Yeah, just I want to thank our presenter, Dave Ormerod, and our behind the scenes webinar wizard, Dean Van Dyke. And on behalf of Startup Fortify, I want to thank you for being flexible and pivoting as we've all done tonight. This is a pretty good approximation for what we do in person. The only thing I can say is that, you know, the real difference obviously is that we're not seeing each other face to face. We're doing it virtually, but you know, with the ability to have perhaps a bit more interaction, this is really not much different than what we do in a normal environment. So again, thank you for your patience and participation virtually this evening. And as Dean had stated, I will be sending out in the next day or so the webinar that you've just witnessed, as well as a recorded version of the same. So please have a look at the Startup 425 website for future sessions, either online or in person. And you can find those at startup425.org, and just go to the program section or the calendar section of the website. So thanks again, and stay safe.
Bye now.
Thank you.